A cooperative 4X game? What? That's right. So we are looking at Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor. What we're looking at today to review is actually the true solo mode. So Uprising is coming back to GameFound for solo players in October. So releasing this review ahead of time, I've played the cooperative mode, two-handed solo, and the true solo mode. And I'll tell you what I like about it, if there's things I don't like, what I don't like, and who I think it's for. If you'd like to find out more specifics about the campaign and everything that's included, the link is in the description below, as well as the pinned comment. So check that out. This is not a paid review. The game itself, however, was provided by the publisher. The publisher is Nemesis Games, and the designers who have had the privilege of meeting and talking with and playing with two of them. We've got Cornelius Kremen, and we've got Pavel, I hope I said that right, it's a W, Pavel, and Dirk Sommer, who couldn't be bothered to attend the meeting. That's okay. Okay, so let's divide this up. The co-op game, the components, the solo game. So I'm going to start out with the cooperative game experience. The gameplay is you versus the game itself. The game is the Nemesis. The Nemesis is composed of the Imperial Legion and the Chaos Horde. The setting, I know it's not post-apocalyptic, and I don't have my laptop in front of me. It's either like during apocalyptic or right before. But bad things are happening where the Nemesis, these two, this Imperial Legion and this Chaos Horde, are turning the world into a very bad, difficult place to live. You play as one or two or three or four different tribes that are kind of with tension working together because you have to fight off the Imperial Legion and the Horde. You do not need to directly attack each other. This is not semi-cooperative, it is full cooperative, but you can feel in the theme that you're also kind of like not really friends, but you have to be friends today. You win by gaining victory points if every single clan playing, so if you're playing multiple players cooperatively, or if you're playing multi-handed solo, so what that means is you're playing more than one character, controlling more than one hand of cards, then both of you need to have more victory points at the end than both the Imperial Legion and the Horde. That's right, they're separate. They run separately. I'm throwing things. They collect their own points. They even fight each other, which is one of my favorite parts. I love that part of the game. And you can kind of manipulate things to make them fight each other. I'm getting off track. So cooperatively, you're going to pick your two factions with two leaders. Actually, these are the two leaders that I like. Two leaders of your choice. You can do three or four if your brain can handle that. But again, I'm playing one player. If you're multiple players, each person only takes one. You each have player boards with a story on one side, and they are board that you actually play on the front, and they are asymmetrical, so they all have their own strengths and weaknesses and their own decks of cards for each leader. Each clan faction that you play as has two leaders to pick from. You pick just one of them. And on your turn, you get to spend action points in order to take standard 4X game actions. You can move, you can trade with each other, you can command troops to move, you can explore unexplored hexes, you can build havens in order to strengthen your dominance, you can go to the market to buy items, and you can go on quests for special rewards. By exploring, you move your armies or your leader onto a hex, you flip it over, do what it says on the bottom, and now you have a new place to expand and put new havens and armies. Every one of the hexes is going to be different in every game with its own powers. You're always going to have the Imperial capital. You're also going to have druids that can help you. They're like special bonus abilities, special actions that you can activate during certain turns. You got a nice item market where you can buy special items for one-time use abilities or ongoing buffs or benefits. You've got quests that you can go on. These change every round just like the items. And if you've got an expansion, the Blessing of the Old Gods, there are more benefits and buffs that you're able to earn. It should be noted, I have the deluxe edition, so this is the solo player neoprene mat in front of me. I played the co-op game on the standard cardboard game board. And you're going to be rolling lots of dice. This is absolutely a dice rolling game with mitigation through some of your cards. The game takes place in chapters. You've got a chapter tracker to your left side of the board. I think on the cardboard one, it's on the right side, but whatever, it's on there. Maybe it's on the left side, but all the way to the left. Who cares? Chapter tracker right here, and it tells you exactly what to do. So you read the line, it says, regain 10 action points, slide it down, do the next thing, deal 3 new items to refresh the market, do the next thing. That's the refresh phase. Then we come to the event phase. The game has 4 events or 4 chapters, so that means you're going to be doing 4 large rounds basically. During the event phase, you flip over the event, you do what it says, it's going to be bad, it might kill you, it's really difficult. Then the Legion and Horde strengthen themselves and you come to the build phase. The build phase is cool because anywhere that you have a haven already, you can build by adding walls and a little tower. You have to spend, of course, resources that you gain by exploring to do that, but you can see really cool little thing there, helps you during battles. During the build phase, you can also spend resources to place some of your combat units anywhere that you have a haven. Once every single one of the characters or factions has finished their building, then you go to the actions phase, and that's where you get to spend your action points. I think is it 8 action points in the cooperative game? I hope I got that right. I'm going by memory here. It's 7 or 8. But anyway, you get to spend an action point until you take up all of your actions. So when you're doing it cooperative, you will either move or trade by spending an action point. Then you can take any of the other ones by spending an action point, and that ends your turn. It goes to the next player board, the next faction. And then back to you, and back and forth until you've either spent all of your action points or both of you pass in a row. This is when you get to really engage in that exploration, resource gaining, and combat. You engage in combat by having your soldiers. You'll have many more than this. You can only have 5 on a spot. By fighting against the Imperial like this, or a horde, or skeletons, other things that get placed. Each of your units represents dice. You roll your dice. Each of these units has its own special card with its own special dice. They get stronger and weaker. You hit them enough times, they're gone. They hit you enough times, you're gone. Once you start a battle, you have to keep going until only one of you remains. As I mentioned, a cool thing can happen if you have both the Horde and the Imperial in the same space. They battle each other and you roll the dice for them. And again, they go until one of them's gone. You've got a nice flow chart cheat sheet right here to help you when you're in battle. And then this we'll get into when we look at the legions and the hordes. Which, boy howdy, is right now the Nemesis phase. So now the Nemesis gets to take their turn. If there are any Imperial legions out or any of the Horde out, they will each take a turn. Each of their cards has like a number. What do you call that? An activation number? I forget. A priority number. Whatever it is, it tells you which one of them is going to go in what order. Initiative, yeah, so the lowest number to the highest number. And when they have their initiative, you'll be told exactly what to do. Right here on your cheat sheet, you do the thing. They're going to try to attack you. You're going to engage in battle. Their turn ends. You get to go to the production phase where you get to gain resources based on your exploration and expansion and total domination or annihilation. Maybe you've been annihilated. And then you go to scoring. You get to gain points based on your havens and your resources. The Imperial Legion and the Chaos Horde, they're going to gain points too. Round ends, you go back to the event phase, time for the next chapter. At the end of the game, if you all have more points, not collectively, but each one of your score markers has to be ahead of the Horde and the Legion, then you win. And if not, I'm sorry, you lose. Alright, don't worry, that's the only rundown of how the game plays. So, what I like about it, I like how it plays very narratively. Alright, this is absolutely dripping with theme. You know that theme is very big for me. This is not a cookie cutter theme. This isn't like other games that I do like. I'm thinking of Dwellings of Eldervale. I'm thinking Lost Ruins of Wonderful games. I enjoy them. But I think the theme could be replaced like that. Not so with this. You are playing a tense narrative of these factions' growth, experience, or complete annihilation. I like the way that the Imperial and the Horde work differently. So the Horde are placed outside in the ice wastes, in the wandering sea, and they slowly come in toward your havens. Imperial are different. They actually place a target. When they are placed, they place a target marker. I've got one right here. They've got a target marker. They place it in one spot. And every time they activate, they move closer until they get to their target and try to annihilate them. They always start from the inside at the capital and work out. So you've got Horde moving in, the Imperial moving out. I enjoyed that tension, and it made having two opponents make sense. I like that this was not overwhelming to manage by any means. I know I showed you there's flowcharts and things like that, and it does help to read them, but it's very easy to read. So you learn the rules once, you can read this game. You're not going to be referencing the rules after your first or second game, for most cases. Somehow, this gave us a strong, intelligent AI opponent that is easy to manage. A 4X game where your opponent moves around on a map and it's easy to manage. That to me is remarkable, if not the most remarkable and unique trait of this game. High compliments for that. I believe there's enough going on. You can add in the small expansions like Blessing of the Old Gods. You can make use of the Druids. If you don't want to use the Druids on your first play or two or three, it's fine. It can look intimidating, but actually all it is when you roll a lightning bolt, you have an option to use one of those abilities. It's that simple. So though it can look overwhelming at first, it truly isn't. I enjoyed being able to go on quests. I found actually I quested a lot. Did it help me win? Maybe once. But I don't care. I like that there's just a goal. You have to roll a certain amount of dice. If you get certain dice rolls, then you succeed. If not, you fail. If you succeed, good things. I just enjoyed that. I liked the item market. I like how it goes in just 4 chapters. 4 rounds is plenty. Honestly, the first couple games, I only played 2 rounds. I only played through chapter 2. And I like, you've got the rule book here. It's very nice. They give some suggestions on basically easy play is playing through 2 rounds, or a shorter game. A shorter game is playing through 2 rounds, which lasts plenty of time. It lasts me an hour. A more normal length game, under 2 hours, is probably going to be 3 chapters in 2 hours, maybe a little more. For me, look, that's for me. Other people play faster. For me, that's a full 4-chapter game. This thing is so crowded with units, but it's pretty epic and pretty fun. I'm thinking with a group of 4 people, you're looking at a 3-4 hour game there. That's my guess. Layout, design of the map, absolutely fantastic. I have nothing negative to say. So what do I have to say that's negative? The only negative is subjective. If you watch my channel, you know I'm not real into dark fantasy themes, or what do they call it, like grimdark. This is not grimdark. This isn't really even dark fantasy, as it is this kind of sci-fi-ish apocalyptica world, but it includes some of the dark fantasy elements that just thematically isn't my kind of theme. And since it is really dripping in theme, you can't necessarily remove it or ignore it, which is okay. It's a dark future, it's a dark world, and I'm glad actually that they didn't go too far with it. So my only critique is subjective. For the co-op mode, is playing two-handed overwhelming? It actually was not. I enjoyed two-handed. But that takes us to the true solo mode, where you play controlling just one player board, one clan. What's that like? Solo mode thankfully plays almost exactly the same with a couple little changes. You get 10 action points instead of the, I believe, 8. Again, if it's 7, I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure it's 8. You have a special event deck that is for the Soul Survivor. Yeah, the Soul Survivor event deck. You have a different board, so if it's the cardboard board, maybe it flips over and there's a solo on the other side. Check the Game Found page for updates on that, because again, what I have is the deluxe mat. But plays exactly the same, just a slightly tighter layout. And for your faction, you pick one faction, but you pick 2 heroes. That can be 2 heroes from the same faction or 1 hero from any other faction. You also take their ability cards, or their hero cards, right? So you've got your main heroes cards, and then you've got almost all of the other heroes cards. There's 1 or 2 that you remove as they just don't make sense for the solo game. It's easy to do, take them out, or if you accidentally flip them, just put them to the side. You don't even have to take them out, because you'll know you can't use them when they come up. Maybe you do have to take them out. I didn't, and I was fine. I just flipped over a new card, and off to the side you go anyway. Everything else exactly the same, so you get to move 2 heroes around using the same 10 action points, right? You just pick which one. You can never move one and always move the other, or mix it up. Oh my howdy, but you only have 1 army of your main faction, which keeps it nice and simple. And your goal is still just you need to have more victory points at the end than the Imperial Legion and the Chaos Horde. Everything is exactly the same. So what do I like? What don't I like? Just to get it out before, and I'm sorry, I know people don't generally like this. I don't have any criticisms of it. I think this is brilliantly done. I think that the 8 point, whatever the number is now, review that the game has on Board Game Geek, even though those numbers mean very little to me, I think that number is well deserved. I'm sorry, I don't have a critique. So do I prefer the solo or the two-handed co-op? Solo, hands down. Two-handed co-op was totally fine. And if that's all you have and you're happy with that, stick with it. I found the true solo played more seamlessly, and I felt like I had more power. I actually played much better. So I won when I played solo. Does that mean it's easier? I didn't feel like it was easier. I just felt like my simple little peanut brain could manage the solo much better while still using the 2 leader cards. I just didn't have to have 2 player trays with 2 separate armies working together. I liked controlling just 1 army. So hands down, I would probably only ever play this game in the solo mode unless I was playing with someone else, which how often is that going to happen? Have you played the co-op game? Are you interested in playing the true solo mode? Let me know in the comments. Let me show you the components as the last thing. Actually, you know what? I did a full unboxing. So let me throw a card right up here. You can check out the unboxing, but you can see the components that I have here. The large druid cards that come for the solo game. Now in the base game, they're smaller, like mini cards, like the size of the item cards. You can see the artwork. The artwork is beautiful. It makes sense. It helps you understand. The iconography makes sense. One thing that threw me off is that the food was elephants, and that made me want to cry. But I mean, you know what? I'd feel better if it was a deer. Are deer any less? I don't know. That was different for me. But still, I can make it make sense. Maybe the elephants take you to get the food. Maybe you're not eating the elephants. I don't know. The tile art I find interesting. It's not repetitive. Every tile is unique, and I appreciate that. I love the little plastic for your havens and your towers and your walls. These are very easy to move around as far as packing everything away. There's a nice organization system in the box. I had no problem getting everything back in the box and closing the box lid properly. You have way more dice than this, way more dice. Look, you're using a lot of dice in this, but they're good quality dice. Component-wise, no issue. Big cards, little cards. I don't know what else to say. I love you all. I'll see you next time.